Hang on 2 seconds here. It's because, I did it. Look at that. I'm always learning and doing new stuff. But hello, everybody out there. I'm just looking around my screen here. Okay. So let us just say this one truth here. Let me bring my microphone over. Isn't it exhausting to show up every week, to post, to speak, to share, and still feel like no one is really hearing you? Like they're just not getting it. I mean, you're consistent. You're committed. You've got something real to offer, right? You're not just some scammer. And yet, when you post, all you get is silence. Maybe a random like or love here and there. And when you explain what you do, I mean, even if you feel like you've hit it, right? You've hit that sweet spot. It just still doesn't seem to land. Well, this is the video for you. And if that has been you, drop a fire emoji in the comments, and just so I know that I'm not the only one who has ever felt that, right? I'm a bit quiet today, so don't mind me. It's just been a long 3 days. I was on a cruise. I'm just bringing up my comments. I was on a cruise last week, and yeah, so we went from cold to warm to cold, so it's been like let me zip back up and warm back up here, because I was warm there for like 2.5 days. And then I wasn't, and it was just like wind everywhere. But yeah, still like it, still am so happy to have gone. And yeah, going again in June, because that is what I do with my dad. So, hello. In case you don't know me, I am Lindsay from Super Secret Powers, where we work to make your magic unforgettable so that you can get the clients and the income and the life you crave. And welcome to the Fulfilled Entrepreneur Show, which is the show for all of the healers and readers out there who are ready to drop the doubt, embrace their magic, their presence, and their leadership. Because the world needs us more than ever, right? So I have been there. I have been there. Feeling that I'm laughing because, like, if only like you listen to my journal. If only like I should do that. I don't know if I will, but I have felt that frustrating, discouraging kind of doubt that creeps in when you're doing everything right, quote unquote right, and still wondering, is something missing? Is it me? What's wrong with me? Why is this so freaking hard? Yeah. And it seems like it's never ending, right? But spoiler alert, because it is not you, love. It is the frequency you are projecting into your brand, and it's off. It's off because the industry taught you to sound clear, but not like a real person. They taught you that a formula is better than being a real person. And everything going on with everybody offering AI stuff, I mean, that doesn't help either, especially if they're not teaching you how to really, like, deeply season your chats, so that you can go back and forth with it and get consistent results from it that actually apply to your business and aren't just like random gunkety gunk, all that kind of stuff. So deep breath here. Deep breath. And let's let that truth settle into your body, right? That maybe this hasn't been a you problem. Maybe it's just that you were taught to feel unsafe to be you online, that you had to be somebody else or some other level of you that you don't even know what that crap means. Right? Maybe it's not as hard as, our fears have led us to believe it is. So, especially for my spiritual entrepreneurs out there, you have been told your message needs more clarity so that it fits into this widget marketing box. And I say it that way because selling earbuds, a widget, is vastly more direct and more common sense than selling spiritual programs or sessions or anything like that, because it is so much more intangible. And we really have to dig. I mean, we do. I'm not saying like this never has to happen. I'm just saying that the way that we've been taught to go about it is kind of backward, because we're already the people who are kind of in touch with the emotional resonance behind the people that we're connecting with in our audience. We need to know the features and the benefits and all those kinds of things. And it might sound kind of dry, but it's just for us, that's the common sense stuff. And I think how we've been taught to approach it is just completely backward for how we think and feel into our business and our people and what we want to see and how we think about it, right? Because I find that most spiritual business owners, they actually don't lack the clarity that they need in order to have excellent and resonant marketing, right? They are just stuck in conformity or stuck trying to process conformity because those general business coaches out there just don't understand us and they don't understand the depth of our niche. And we have a niche. Like, we are very niched if we are in any kind of spiritual entrepreneur field. And a lot of times, sometimes we just need to pick one problem to work with at a time. If we ever need to go deeper into a niche, it's just picking a problem or picking a type of person we want to help at that point. It's not like we have to go through this big thing. We just have to get a little bit more focused on one thing at a time. But anybody out there who has ever edited a post to make it sound more professional or maybe less creative or less woo woo, or maybe you've deleted something that felt just too real, too big, too out there? Leave me one in the comments if if you've been in that place where it's just been like, I have all this stuff. I would love to say it. I don't exactly know how to say it because I think it has to be structured funny and it never seems to land and I don't even know. And Give me one in the comments, right? Because that is why we're here today. So you have been conditioned into saying what you think you should say, right? I mean, that's just it. We're still even if we're tapping into what we truly believe about our work and our results and all that kind of stuff, you're still trying to turn it around, and you're still trying to, run it through the hook generator, and you're still trying to do all of these things that ultimately make it not sound like you, and make it sound like and make it feel like this foreign process. I mean, adjusting your voice to match what works for somebody else's standard of business is a killer. It kills your own creativity, it kills your alignment, it kills your own sense of self-trust in your business. And in doing that, it doesn't usually ever get you the results you think it will. I mean, sure, you might sound or look polished if you use somebody else's templates, but is it powerful? Is it authentically powerful from your heart? It might feel safe, but it also might make you forgettable because you're just blending into the sea of other healers, readers, coaches out there. And your message gets a little flatter. It kind of sounds like everybody else, or at least that grouping of people who've taken that class or bought that product, or yeah. So it makes you so much easier to scroll past because you're not doing the deeper work. You're just taking somebody else's idea and trying to run with it. But the deeper work of coming into your own clarity and your own beautiful message based on your mission and how everything works for you, I mean, that's where your power lies. That's where your visibility frequency lies. But deep breath again. One word in the comments, right? Tell me how you feel about your content right now. Drop that in the chat. How are you feeling about the content that you are putting out there? Is it exciting? Do you love it? Or do you feel so muddled you're not even sure what you're saying anymore? Let me know. And I said in one word, but whatever. Oh, pardon me. Ugh. And you're doing it, and I did it, and we're doing this thing because of shame. Shame. No other reason than we don't believe that we can do it by ourselves, because we're believing all this, false evidence that if your message's good, you're instantly going to take off and everything's going to go viral. Like, do you know what small percentage of people that ever happens for? And when they do, they are still not prepared for it because they don't have the business structure behind it to sustain all of that attention at one time. So, I mean, that's not really what any of us should be going for. I mean, yes, grow your audience, but grow your audience in a way that feels good and natural and like a good flow for you, instead of, trying to aim for these crazy things that ultimately feel a lot more stressful. Right? So we can take a deep breath, and we can afford to give ourselves that kind of step back and say, like, it doesn't all have to be all of that crazy viral stuff right now. I just need to reach the people I need to reach. I'm not here for everybody. I'm here for certain people. But that shame whispers to us like, I have to earn the right to charge. Because, I don't know, because you're not good enough yet, because you're not practiced enough yet, because you haven't figured out this whole online business thing yet. I mean, it's as easy as like dropping somebody that just a quick chat and saying, like, need a reading. I have an opening. None of this has to be difficult. None of this has to be like all these huge, big things, at least at first, right? And that shame whispers, I should be grateful for whoever shows up. Because money, uh, everybody's money is equal because you need money, just period, end of sentence. Oh, I mean, you also need respect. And you also need to feel good about what you're doing and how you're doing it in order for it to be sustainable, in order for you to keep doing it instead of falling off the wagon once more because you got all burned out. Either because of the misalignment with the clients or just the sheer, I have to be everything to everyone and I'm going to typey type and video myself until the cows come home. And, 6 weeks later, you're in bed for a month. And that shame also whispers, if I were really, really spiritual, I wouldn't care about the money. But let me go a little bit further, because none of that is marketing confusion. And none of that is actually being bad at business. That is your witch wound. That is your witch wound. Let that settle in. The wound that says you have to suffer to be taken seriously. You have to suffer in order to be of value to the greater community. The witch wound that says you have to help for free before you can be paid, before you can be accepted, before you can be respected. How is this hitting? Let me know in the comments. And the witch wound that says you have to be liked and follow all of the rules before you can be accepted and seen as safe. Right? Because we can't stick our heads out of the stand, for fear of, that witch wound says, for fear of, the burning times happening again, for fear of discrimination, for fear of trolling, for fear of being called out on your own imposter syndrome. All of these little things that keep us in a box, that keep us from, letting our magic out. That frequency lives under the surface of your brand, your message, and your online presence. And your audience feels it, whether they realize what's off or not, right? I mean, they are sensitive, but maybe they don't always put a name to the face or a name to the why they scrolled away from you, right? But drop me a heart. Drop me a heart in the comments right now if you have ever felt like you had to tone it down to be taken seriously in your business. I mean, it sucks. It's a horrible place to be. But that is just our inner critic. That is our witch wound. That is our shame speaking. And that is not the truth. And it's not the truth about how online business actually works. It just it isn't. None of that. The algorithms don't care about any of that. You can literally just skip it. When you are trying to sound quote unquote right, or when you stop trying to sound quote unquote right and you start transmitting your truth, when you allow the static to drop away so that you can speak what you know needs to be spoken, when you stop posting from your head and start creating that signal, that clear soul signal. I mean, that is when everything changes. And when your message matches your frequency, when your business message matches your frequency and what you are here to do and stand for, you become magnetic. Your content clicks because your audience feels you. And they feel what you know they need to feel because you're that brilliant kind of sensitive empathic person. And clients, well, they start showing up, not because you finally earned it, but because your energy finally said, I am here for you. Let's get to work, right? It doesn't need to be loud and screaming. It doesn't necessarily need to be controversial. You have a way in which your soul wants to speak. And I have a free quiz that can help you figure that out about how to communicate with your brand and to your audience, right? If you want that, just type in quiz and I'll send you the link. But the thing is, heart and soul trumps strategy every time. Now, that doesn't mean we never use strategy. Strategy is the support system for our power, right? You have to have the power, but it also has to be supported so that you're not like lifting all of the heavy weight all of the time, answering every single comment. And, you got all of your ducks in a row in order so that your power can just be where it needs to be, connecting with people. So your brand needs both the power and the structure. It needs a balanced message that is pure heart, supported by the rituals that will convert the love and trust people feel for you and your brand. Oops, I went the wrong way. That will convert all of that goodwill into something that is going to bring them deeper into your world and a deeper sense of trust between you and your brand and the work that you're putting out there. So who feels like you're still somewhere in between, right? In that balance between being real and being quote unquote right. Drop me a between in the comments if that is where you feel that you are at in your business. I mean, you have no idea how obsessed I have been with content. I have explored hundreds of different content systems, different ways of thinking about it, different ways of switching up your whole message, and so that then your content changes and your message changes. And I mean, my journal, my Mystic AI journal chat must just be so bored with me because I'm just always like, I wonder what would happen if I posted this, or I wonder why nobody liked that one, or because I had to be. Because I wanted to figure this out, because for me it's not like a game in like a weird dismissive sense, but for me I always want to puzzle it out, right? For me but here's the thing. Your content and your message is never just a one and done, because you evolve. And as you evolve, you are able to resonate with other clients or other audience members and different sorts of packages. And, maybe you get a new certification because of all of this growth, which then, leads you to have to create like another product and how to draw people into that. And again, none of it has to be complicated. It's just that the content part is the first part people usually see of you, right? How they begin to understand their own resonance with you. So if you're not showing up from that place where your soul signal is coming through, no matter what kind of content you create, people aren't going to feel like they can trust you and therefore listen to you, other than, maybe some polite nods, maybe a occasional, hey, that was a good quote, or that was a good, just Barnum statement. And when you slowly begin to hear, because you're coming into alignment with what you know you need to say, when you slowly begin to hear how off kilter your content has sounded, then you're going to realize that, a lot of change might need to happen in your business, and the way you talk about it and the way you build your packages and just like that whole positioning stance. And we can't be afraid of that, because if it wasn't working before, there literally is no point in continuing to write about it and put content out around it, because it doesn't match who you are. And it's not just going to eventually someday work out, because it needs to match you first, right? All right. So this is exactly what we are going to be doing in the visibility frequency shift class, or visibility frequency class, which is the 3-day event starting on April 23rd, which is this coming Wednesday. So we're going to go deep into tone, transmission, and why being clear isn't the same as being resonant. And you are going to walk away from this 3-day class, which is again for free, knowing what's been distorting your message and how to clear that static that you've had with ease. Because, like I said, none of this has to be complicated, especially if you are a person who is already, doing the soul work for yourself. Now we just need to translate that back to business. So this isn't a fluff content class. I'm not going to just be saying like, post these templates or try this kind of post. Like, I might say that on the fly because you have come up with a good idea that is based on your soul alignment. But I am here to help you trust yourself, to trust your own message, your own heart, your own soul signal. This class is a reclamation of all of that. It is a remembering of your voice, your message, your mission, your power, and your brand's true resonance. All right. So if you're ready to stop sounding like someone else and start showing up in the frequency that gets you paid, gets you seen, and will ultimately make you feel safe enough to keep jamming on this for quite a long time, drop me shift in the chat and I'll send you the link. Or you can use the little thing down at the bottom here, if you could actually see it, the QR code, and that will take you directly to the sign up page. And for those who are watching over replay, please just drop replay in my inbox and I will make sure you get everything you need. I will be going live next Wednesday, which is the start of the 3-day class, but that's in that's in my group. But yeah, no, stay tuned for that. And don't forget to hit, the little follow or subscribe button to make sure that you catch next week's live as well. All right. I love you all.